I've moved everything the fuck
Welcome
around.
back, everybody, to the League of Inches podcast. We don't know what's happened here, but Adam's got control, which is the first of everything.
Well, before we start, Joel, haven't we got something we've got to do? Like you've gone off 18 seconds early. We've got a countdown we've got to do. Then
welcome back, everybody, to the League of Inches podcast. Joel here, your host, with Adam and Mika Martin. Apologies about this. I'm not in control tonight. I've got no idea what's happening. I was trying to connect and get everything organised, but the Wi-Fi where I'm staying in Adelaide is absolutely horrible, so I don't know what was going on there, but had to resort to the phone, so I hope it's some good sounds for you guys out there, and apologies if it's not, or if I cut out or whatever. Look, the Martin brothers will bring us home. I've got no doubt about us. And look, Adam's been just going off when it comes to technology. He's just getting better and better. It's going to be hard for me to keep control of all the comments and etc. So hopefully, we'll try and stay on top of it, guys. But if we can't, we do apologise. But let's get straight into it. It's going to be a big show. Unfortunately, we will touch on it shortly. Simon, the Canberra drummer, was supposed to be jumping on with us, but wasn't able to. Unfortunately, I think it's been a big week for him, to be honest. And I think he's had some meetings with the dogs and stuff that I've seen today. And I think it's probably just a lot emotionally for him, and he's probably a bit exhausted. So send out nothing but our love to Simon and support. It's been a big, tough time, which we're going to talk about shortly, but just want to let everyone know now as we kick off the show. But straight into what caught our eye, and I'm going to throw straight to Mika here first up, who's going to let us know what. Oh, hang on, he's gone. He's done his whole. This is absolute mayhem today. He's just off. See you later, Adam. I'll throw to you first. First of all, how did Talking Para go last night? I literally haven't even had a chance to look at it, so shows.
Let's say to Michael first of all, because I'm trying to prove shit still.
Mika.
Yeah.
Talk to us. What caught your eye this week?
What caught my eye, how buggy StreamYard is for the last week and a half. It's been a shit fight. Time we used a different platform. I don't know. What caught my eye? I didn't see a lot of the footy on the weekend, to be honest. I watched the Eels game and I was very surprised. I couldn't believe it. I watched the Roosters game I watched. It was... Actually, no, what caught my eye was the crowd at Belmore. That's what caught my eye. I know we're going to talk about that separately, but seeing that ground full and how it sounded was pretty good coming through the TV. Some really good images, even over the radio, because I saw half on TV and then half on my drive to work I was listening to. It just sounded like the atmosphere was amazing. So that's what caught my eye this week.
Yeah, as always as well, guys, keep your comments coming in. Get involved with the show. More you guys get involved, the better it is. And lately, in the last few weeks, it's been awesome, the show and all the interaction. Yes, I do apologise. I'm very, very rough at the moment. I literally got out of the shower a couple of minutes ago and just, haven't had time to go to the barber. I haven't had to clean up. Just been too busy, but I do apologise. Looking a bit like a grub at the moment. Adam, what caught your eye this week, mate? You've been pretty busy. You've been... Talking Para, the big dog, the woof woof. In a week where we welcome back the big dog, actually, to all the WWE fans. Roman Reigns was back and got a bit of a pop, so we all acknowledge our tribal chief. But what caught your eye this week?
Well, if we're going to talk WWE, it's Dom finally doing what any other man would have done fucking months ago and finally folding for the Hot Blonde. It took him long enough, but what caught my eye, and we're going to obviously talk more about the Canberra Bulldogs one, dickheads at football matches. Caught my eye. I was at a local game on the weekend.
That's usually me.
Yeah, no, you're not this bad. Dickheads shouting abuse at players on the field for a good solid 75 minutes, and when a player reacts after 75 minutes of being called everything under the sun. They try and fight everyone at full time. So that was my experience on Saturday at a local game with the young fella there. I was obviously stayed very far away from it, but they looked like they couldn't fight their way a wet paper bag, but wanted to cause trouble. So dickheads at football games, that obviously went across to the Bulldogs Canberra game, which I know we're obviously going to talk about soon, but there's no place for it. I thought we got away from that kind of things in the modern day, and it's a shame to see it's back. I think obviously NRL needs to act on the other one, but we'll get into that soon.
Yeah, we definitely will. And Jay's just seen your message there. Adam might pop it up about the rumours about Silfungo's get-out clause. I've told you guys this a month or two ago, and I noticed I got abused basically in some comments lately that was put up on a post. So there you go. Glad it's been confirmed and you'll believe it now. So I told you this a while ago. But yeah, it'd be great if I think there'll be a lot of clubs sniffing around Silfungo if it does happen. And by the sounds of it, Ryan Pappenhausen's days away from re-signing. So I've got no doubt there'll be an absolute frenzy in the off-season if Silva does become available and is potentially probably one of the first players in a lot of teams at the moment. So what caught my eye, it's going to work into, and Adam's already touched on it, the Simon the Canberra Raiders drummer, the incident in there. And I'm just going to touch, look, I know this is going to be a pretty big topic, and it's going to be something that a lot of people have some say, will have their say in, and could get a bit fiery. I'm not too sure. Who knows what will happen there? But what I will say on this to start with is, I really am over the bandwagoners, and I feel like this is where this has come from to start with, and why I put bandwagon in my little status thing to remind myself of this point. And I've watched the video a couple of times now. It's been around, and I think most NRL fans know what we're talking about here when it comes to this. And I was lucky enough, I've chatted to Simon a number of times over the last year or two, just doing the sort of content creating world. You start to talk to a few of these guys and that. And then me and Adam were lucky enough to meet him at Magic Round. And honestly, probably one of the nicest blokes I've ever met. Not whether he's a para fan, whether he's an opposition fan, whatever. He's just a genuinely nice guy. We went around that weekend and spoke to a number of creators, and no disrespect to any of them, but he was easily the nicest and probably easiest to talk to out of the lot as well, which says a lot about him as a guy. And that was half time of his own game. So probably would have liked time to relax, but we were just asking him some questions and stuff, and he was more than accommodating for it. A shame he's not on tonight, but I 100% understand why he's not. And one thing I want to talk about with Bulldogs fans, it's funny that the last couple of years when your team's been in the, excuse the pun, the doghouse and not been doing well, where have you been? Where have you been? Because you haven't been around. We keep seeing your home games were almost empty for a long time there, and I'm so happy that your team's got success. You deserve that. The Dogs deserve it with the hard work that their players have put in this year, but that's then created these bandwagoners that come back once their team's only doing well. I know this is going to be controversial and not going to like me saying it, but I'm just going to say it because I feel like it's the truth. So, I love the drums. I love the atmosphere. That was a sensation. Jesse, part of the team, was there on the weekend. I had a chat to him about some stuff, and he said it was the best atmosphere he's ever been involved in. It was awesome. But just that small minority that destroys it and that wrecks it for everyone else in that experience, Simon should never have gone through that. That's not fair for him to have to go through that. We should, as opposition fans, if we go to an away game, we should feel safe. We should feel like, okay, look, yeah, we know we're on different territory, but it doesn't mean we end up getting put into a position where we feel threatened and the like. Adam, I know you were pretty big on this one. You wanted to touch on it as well. I'll say to you first and get your thoughts around the incident as a whole and go from there.
Yeah, so just a bunch of flogs, and something we don't need in sport. I know the Dogs had some issues with this, a long time ago. Obviously at Belmore, trying to
conveniently the last time they were successful.
Yeah, let's just say as the dynamic started to change and they went away from Belmore to obviously the Olympic Stadium, which became a core stadium. At a core stadium, I remember going there like late 2007, 6 is like when they were successful then, there was always a lot of trouble. Even when we went there this year, like walking out that game, the amount of shit, I'm fine with a bit of banner. Like I love a bit of banner with Mavis from Mayfield walking out of a Knights game, or I'll sit there and banner with a bloke near you, like as we all obviously experienced at Magic Round when it wasn't even our teams. We loved a bit of banner. But we never crossed the line, never got physical. Never got to a point where a bloke felt personally attacked and wanted to escape. And, they've had issues before. And as soon as they go back to Belmore, it's like the culture completely changed. And you're right, it's bandwagons because so many fans would have missed out on tickets at that game. And there's so many blokes that probably haven't been around for ages, and some of the fans that were going to the games to the core potentially missed out on those tickets. And they might be the kind of fans you want around, as opposed to the idiots that just got around that hill culture and that, having a party on the hill. Yeah, it's great for the TV, it's great for the game, but when it's over, like, he should be able to walk. It's his local backyard. Like, everyone go, fuck off back to Canberra. Like I just said, we've got to know this guy. He travels to every game all year. He still works as well. People go, he mustn't work. He travels to all these games. The club must look after him, things like that. Doesn't matter what they do. Like, if he travels to every game, I know for a fact, I spoke to someone today about it, he pays for the highest membership at Canberra, highest possible membership that gives him a seat wherever he wants to sit pretty much, and he chooses to sit in with the fans so he can play his drum and get the chants going and stuff like that. That's how he supports his club. So, look, if the club chuck him a few freebie away tickets, whatever, but, the fact he does that all from Sydney, travels down, first of all, travels to Canberra week, then to every other game, obviously deserves the respect of all fans. And, I had a look through in Canberra. I believe they play at home this week against Manly. And then the week after they play North Queensland up in Townsville. I can guarantee you the Townsville fans will give him a massive welcome when he goes up there. And I hope he's still planning on it, and I'll make him feel welcome the way he should be felt, because every single fan of the NRL is behind him, except for the Bulldogs fans who are trying to make excuses for their fans, trying to say it's a Lebanese culture and they try to pick him up on the shoulders to play the drum. I'm sorry, but that could have been the case for that one video. But if he cops shit for 500 metres before that, of course he wants to fucking get out of there. And my team's just been beaten. I don't want to be picked up on some bloke's shoulders I don't know, trying to play a drum while they're celebrating their team. But like I said, it's a culture thing for the Bulldogs. It's that mentality. Like, I had words with a couple of them back at Conclave after the Parramatta Bulldogs game over a table, because they, tried to tell us to get off the table because it was their table and stuff. And I wasn't going to back down. Mum and Dad weren't real happy about it, but just get away from it. It's very soccer thug mentality based, and it's overshadowing how well the Bulldogs are actually going this week now.
And that's probably the big thing to touch on, is that, look, I'm all for the atmosphere that they're creating at the Bulldogs, and they're doing some great things as a club. I think they're a real sleeping giant when it comes to this competition in the next couple of years, and the club as a whole, which is a huge credit to the turnaround there at the club by Phil Gould and the like, and everyone else there at the club. But for mine, it's like it's a difference between being confident and having fun as a fan and just being cocky and arrogant. And just remember where you were, your club has been, and what it's gone through to get back to this stage. You don't want to destroy that. Like, who's to say the Dogs won't treat that seriously and come out and ban some of those fans did that? And now you've destroyed your future of going to enjoy your team that's now doing well and will probably do well now for a couple of years. Mika, I'll get you on this one. I know you jokingly said at the start you're one of those fans, but I know you're not like that. You're not one of those fans that would do that sort of stuff. You get involved, you throw some words around and stuff. It's all in good jest. What are your thoughts around this one? Because you don't know Simon, like me and Adam have met him and stuff, so you can probably come at a different point of view if you wish.
Yeah, I generally am one of the loudest and drunkest fans at every footy game I go to. But there is a line, when there's kids around, what words you can and can't use. The banner you can throw out. You got to be able to give it and take it. I cop my fair share. Don't worry about that. It's not new. Like, everyone forgets the only time probably in the history of the NRL where we had to split the crowd down the middle of the game was a Bulldogs game in the prelim, because they were worried that it was going to blow up because of how they'd been carrying on the weeks before. They threw paint all over someone's car or something stupid like that. And I know I'm going back 15 years now, so some of the details might be a bit hexy, but there's always been that aura about them. I don't really think it's a bandwagon thing. Like, I don't actually like the term bandwagoners, because no one likes going to watch their team lose. Parramatta had the lowest crowd they've ever had at CommBank the other week. So, like, it's just what happens when you
11,000 people there.
Yeah, yeah. Like, that's just happened when your team goes shit. You're unmotivated to go and see them. When they're going good, it's expensive. You want to go and see them when they're going good. You don't want to see them when they know they're going to lose. Like, I don't the only reason I'm going to see Parramatta tomorrow, Friday night, is because we're getting a free ticket. Like, it's just the way it is. So that whole bandwagon thing, I don't really think it's bandwagon fans or things like that. I just think it's more to do with the mentality of some of their fans. And it's been a problem with the club before. I think the NRL should probably get involved, given the footage I've seen with Simon. Like, you can't just be walking up behind a dude and grabbing his legs and carrying on like a flop. Simon would have been pretty scared. He was surrounded by a lot of people he didn't know. So I've got no doubt he's had a big
by
week.
himself.
Yeah, by himself.
And there was a whole group that's just surrounded him. Like, that's intimidating as all shit. Like, let's be honest. It's not. And I know it's a stigma around the dogs that they've tried to get eliminated, and they were doing very well at doing so. But there is a stigma there, and that would not feel like a safe place to be at that time. Being an opposition fan, I know he grew up in the area, but he's had the opposition colours on, and it's just
It's a fight. It's a fight or flight thing, isn't it? In that situation, he had a choice to try and get out of those kicks, or start swinging one. And a lot of blokes not thinking, with a lot of people surrounding him, they don't know, in a seemingly aggressive way, could have potentially, started throwing him, and it could have ended up a lot worse, outnumbered. But I think the issue I want to raise is it a Belmore issue? Like, I don't know how many people have actually been in the ground at Belmore. I worked there quite a few times. You might have gone for some courses there too, Michael. But you go down the main street, and you've essentially got two ways to get out of that ground. You can go towards houses, or you can go up the main street to where everything happens. Most people are going up the main street to catch a train back, and
that's the same at Leichhardt.
Really get a park.
Leichhardt.
Yeah, Leichhardt's got a couple of ways out though, but like Belmore, you're literally walking down the main street of Belmore, where they're all going to have a drink or food after or whatever. Like, it is pretty hard to get out of, and like when it comes down to safety of fans and stuff, like I can say now, like, I know it's never going to happen, Parramatta playing the Bulldogs there, but if Parramatta played the Bulldogs there and both teams were going reasonably well, there'd be 3,000 or 4,000 Parramatta fans. So there could be a lot more trouble in the way than one Canberra fan.
I just like, some Bulldogs have got some really good fans too, like some very passionate fans that have been around a very long time. So, look, I still think it is a minority thing. It's just for some reason it keeps rearing its head with the Bulldogs, and maybe it's that whole, like, they like being the dogs of war and that siege mentality type shit. Like, I don't know if it just gets taken a bit too seriously and a bit too far, or what it is. But yeah, it's a shame for the good Bulldogs fans, because I love watching the Eels versus Bulldogs games. I know no matter how bad either team are going, they're always going to be awesome games of footy, and the atmosphere is always going to be pretty good. So it's just a shame this thing keeps happening with the one club, I guess.
And look,
just got a quick question about this comment about the big incident in the Dogs South and the 2,915 grand final rematch. Donna, you tell me who's played in 2,915. It's a rematch from 2,914. Can you tell me if Parramatta have won a comp by then? Because I'd really, really like to know, please. Obviously you mean the 2015 grand final rematch. A Fisher was assaulted, suffered a broken collarbone. I think from memory, fan was good. That was after the famous charge down with Clemmer and Bob, wasn't it?
That was the James Graham pointing, wasn't it?
The James Graham one. So I guess that passion kind of
that was a pretty fiery game, yeah.
Very fiery game. Like I said, there's no reason to carry it on. Like, once the game's over, the game should be over. It goes to the players as well. It shouldn't carry the hands. But Johnny, I know it was a mistake. Can you tell me they have Parramatta won a comp in that nearly 900 years? I'd love to know.
Let us know how Rolls went as well. If he was there for a decent amount of
time. Did Jared
time.
Hayne make it back?
And how long the board stayed on for. Look, at the end of the day, I want to finish on this now, because Simon would be embarrassed. This has been going for so long. I know that he's probably, as I said, he's probably had a tough couple of days, and he wants to move on. And I spoke to him today, and that was his comments to me when he confirmed he couldn't be on tonight, was he wants to move on. He wants to forget about all this now and get on to the next game, which I know he will be at, obviously, on the weekend. It's a home game for them. And I don't want to bag it's not a personal attack at all, so don't take it like that. It's just more so about, I want to make sure that we're better than this moving forward, the fans, and just embrace things. Like, yes, have some friendly banter, but don't take it too far. Now, the next topic is one that Mika absolutely loves talking about, and unfortunately it just has popped up in the media again the last couple of days, and seems to be a bit more, I don't know if it's truth behind it, but a certain someone named James Hooper seems to think it's getting more and more louder as we speak. I'm starting to think he's dead set, I don't know, finger blasting. Is that the right words? Isaac Moses.
Finger blasting. Hey,
He's,
whoa.
What are you
Jesus
into?
he's dead set. Like Isaac Moses can't do no wrong in this guy's opinion, and or the male.
Shit.
They're hooking up or something. I don't know what's going on there, but Mika, you can go first because I know how much you love this Mitchell Moses, the contract saga. Apparently, there's fresh news coming out, and I was on 360 tonight that Hooper is adamant that he reckons there's going to be a release. He's going to seek a release by the end of the year. He reckons Moses really wants to go. So, where are we at?
James Hooper has never got anything right in his entire fucking life. He is one of the worst journalists I've ever seen, and I can't believe people don't hold him more accountable when he gets shit wrong. Now, on contracts. So Moses cannot speak to another team until November 2025. Like, yes, he has player options for 26 and 27. He will be there until November 25 at least, unless he asks for a release and then the club grant it. Do you think the club will grant it given that our next halfback just left? Fuck no. It'll be Ben Hunt all over again. And don't come at me with this whole like, oh, every player gets a release. There's never been a genuine there hasn't been a genuine contract flip since Jamie Lyon, and he had to go play in the bush for 18 months, right? So Moses will be there till at least 2025, the end of 2025. By that stage, he's going to be 32. I don't really have an issue with his contract per se. Like they got him for 3 years and then his two options for the 5. Given his age and what we had going on at the time with Easton Sanders coming through, like 32, a lot of players retire at 32. I'm pretty sure he's been on the record at saying he wants to stay in Eel for life. I just think Hooper's a flog. I think he's wrong. I'm not concerned about Moses leaving. I can tell how much that grand final loss burned him when you watched him after the game. I always said if he can get back to another one, I don't think he'll lose another one. I think Moses would really like it. Oh, of course he'd like it, but I think his goal would be to get a team around him that can get him back to a grand final. And I think he actually genuinely wants to do it at Parramatta. So I'm not really that concerned about James Hooper. He's a flog.
I understand what you're saying 100%, and I get it. I'm concerned more so because of the fact there's Isaac Moses in the picture, and I know what you're saying. He can't talk to teams and stuff, but just because he can't doesn't mean sources can't. And it's rugby league, the way it works these days. It's just
even if he does talk to other clubs, the choice will come down to Parramatta whether or not they release him, and they would be absolutely insane to do so. They're not going to release him.
Absolutely insane. Some of the fucking decisions they've made for the last 6 years have been insane, so it wouldn't surprise me.
They have.
I don't blame Moses.
Even if he wants to go, which he probably does, but where's he? To talking about he wants to go to win a comp. What other teams can win the comp? Melbourne, Roosters, Penrith. Where's he fucking playing in those teams at the moment?
Well,
Off
he
the
could go
bench?
to the Dogs. And the Dogs with Mitchell Moses could probably win a comp.
Sam Walker's up out of contract next year. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, and he's been Roosters. He'll be staying there.
I don't know about
that. But he's a Brisbane boy.
It'll be Ben Hunt all over again. Even if he asks for a lease, Parramatta will go no. This is that simple. I don't know why it's even such a big topic.
I'm going to swing it the other way. I hope Moses doesn't leave. First of all, say that. I can't blame him if he does leave the way the club is at the moment. If you're right, he generally does want to win a comp and he's got 2 years till those player options are up. I'd rather him go now. Personally, I think for the last 2 years, Mitchell Moses has absolutely contributed nothing to Parramatta due to injuries, most injuries. Obviously, the 2022 year he did. Let's say he's been unlucky, but he's had quite a lot of injuries on $1.1 million a year to spend most of the year out injured. The reason I say if he wants to go now, I don't think we can get close to winning a comp in the next 2 years. So if he's going to leave in 2027, the sole purpose he wants to win a comp at 32, turning 33 later in that year, he may as well go now and have more chance of doing that. The club's in a rebuilding for the next 2-3 years anyway. And given the young players they've let go of, if he's genuinely unhappy and there's a chance to sign a Sam Walker someone like that along those lines. I don't really know who else is around. There's not a lot else around, but you don't know who could burst on the scene. The only way I can think that Parramatta hold on for 2 years and then let him go is if they can somehow bring Sanders back. I think he signed a 2-year deal with a player option at Canberra for the 3rd year. Maybe. We've been told by a source that I don't know how fucking reliable they are, but that he wants to return to Parramatta eventually when Moses is gone. So, like I said, it's a hard one, and I don't want him to go because I love what he can do, and I think his best football's still ahead of him. But, like, what if he has another 2 years like this, where he barely gets on the field for Parramatta, kills it at Origin, injury, like his injury's obviously been pretty bad for 2 years. Even the 2022 year, he had a bad lot of injuries, but got back at the right time of the year. It's a hard one, but he's unhappy and we're rebuilding and starting again. Is there something we can do to, be a benefit of it?
If he has another 2 seasons, riddled with injuries, he'll be retiring at 32 anyway. Like, his body will be fucked.
Yeah, but like I said, if that happens, we haven't planned for the future. Like, I don't know if we've got anyone else coming through, but we've let go of our bright prospects coming through. Dylan Brown's never going to be a 7.
Yeah, but hang on, we didn't really let go of Sanders. He would leave 100 times over in that situation.
Well, yeah, I get
doesn't matter who you.
He's,
It doesn't matter who you put behind him. If you're stuck behind Moses and Brown for the next 3 years, and there's a club offering you a starting position and more money, you are going to take it 9 times out of 10.
He's not guaranteed a starting position there, though. Really, like he signed that contract well before KO Weeks burst on the scene. Ethan Strange, Fogarty, he's got 3 players ahead of him now.
Ethan Strange will go to Sanders.
Also,
he'll be in the halves next year. Sanders will be being halves. Sanders will be starting in the halves next year.
Weeks is down there as well. Like he's a chance. He's more of a 5'8" than Sanders. Sanders is a half.
Yeah, he'll be there. That's why he went down there. Otherwise, he wouldn't have left. Who'd want to fucking live in Canberra if you're still playing New South Wales Cup?
Well, even their drummer would rather live in Canterbury than live in Canberra.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it makes no sense.
It's more of a reflection where the club's at, if I'm being honest. Like, he wanted to go to Canberra instead of where he's not a guarantee for a starting spot and stay at his junior club and continue to work. I think it was more he just wanted to get out. And from the reports that I've heard, it was a lot to do with the relationship we had with the coach at that time. So, that's on that one. In terms of this Moses, I obviously want him to stay. I would hate to see him go. I'm also, though, I'm sick of this Isaac Moses bullshit that's been around the club now for, it feels like a good 12 to 18 months, a real dirty stigma about it. We've seen what he's done to the West Tigers. I don't like it at all. And I don't want us to become the West Tigers, which I think we're very quickly becoming. I'm honestly at a point now where I would say to anyone that's managed by Isaac Moses at the club, you are free to leave. You can go and find a club because we want to cut ties, similar to what the Roosters have done and pretty much have barred Isaac Moses now. I would love if our club came out and said, you know what, we're letting go of so-and-so because of this reason, Isaac Moses. Hope you guys understand this. We're going to work hard for the next 2 years to get back to where we belong. But this was a decision we had to make as a club moving forward because for mine, that then also forces the NRL's hand to say this guy's honestly that bad that a club's about to turn themselves upside down to make sure they get rid of him. And I think it really forces the hand. So I don't know. I don't know if it's doable, but I'm at the point now where I'm happy if Moses goes, and that means we lose him, if it means we don't have to deal with Isaac Moses anymore, because it's a massive circus. Every re-signing in that with these boys are a massive circus as well. I'm over it. I'm actually over it.
The problem is
if that happens, good at his job.
Oh, yeah, but he's a scumbag. Like, player agents are like car salesmen, scumbags.
Oh, look how many other playmen there are in the game, and they're not making anywhere near this sort of noise that he's making.
But it's the area he operates in.
That's part to do with our club as well, not he. Our club's half responsible for that.
Like Josh has said, 80% of our juniors, he looks after. Like, if we don't deal with the bloke, we're fucked. We're already struggling I think we've got about 20 players available for a squad next year, and some players that probably still shouldn't be in there, with other players told they can go. Like, we need Riles, and we know he can't bring up from Melbourne next year. Now we've got Nathan Brown as well. We need to bring in some players, and I don't really care who we've got. I'd sign a deal with the Devil to have Parramatta as a competitive team again.
Yeah. No, I understand. Anyway, let's talk about the Gold Coast Titans. I want to say I told you so at the start of the year. You both wanted to heap shit on me and laugh at me. Who's laughing now, you dirty dogs? The Titans are possibly finals bound. I'm going to say it. They're mathematically a prospective or potential chance to make it happen. Adam, I told you that these guys are starting to build. They're building something special, and I still feel it. I think they're doing quite a good job. I want to know if you think they're finals bound, and I also want to know, what do you think? What do you put the turnaround to? Because they've become a team that, I know on the ladder it doesn't suggest it, but I personally at the moment, if I had to rate them, I'd put them probably in the top 6 team in the competition.
Yeah, well, I guess the turnaround. First of all, shout out to my mate Hayden from Entertain House. He's a massive Gold Coast Titans fan, so I want to give him a shout out how well his team's going at the moment. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But I had Brisbane potentially making the 8, and they've demolished Brisbane. I said one team always goes on a charge and almost gets there, or does get there. They could be that team that somehow plays finals football with a minus differential, which we've seen before. You say a turnaround, like they've had a turnaround. They're very unlucky in some games leading up to obviously smashing the Warriors. Like, obviously they were poor at the start of the year, really struggling, but they got beat by Canberra by 21-20 in round 6. They got beat by Manly 34-30. They then beat the Warriors 27-24. They got beat by Melbourne 22-20. They beat the Gold Coast by 2. Beaten by Newcastle by 4. Beat the Broncos by 2.
Hang on.
They had some poor games against South Sydney and the Tigers.
They beat themselves.
Well, that's what I mean. Sorry, or whatever. They've won, when you work it out, they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in that period by less than 4 points. So they weren't really playing bad. They had a couple of bad games, and they turned around and finally clicked against the Warriors. Then they've gone on a bit of a run since then, besides the Manly game. They had injuries at the start of the year. Kieran Foran wasn't on the field for quite a while. David Fafita. Obviously, they lost Tino early on as well, which kind of meant they couldn't get their forward pack and who had to stand up and stuff. But, they're sitting 4 points out, and the differential is better than the Dragons. I think they can make it. Like, I like them more than any team above them as a chance of making the football they're playing. And fuck, I hope they don't, because we are never going to hear the end if they do, eh? Like, your head will get even bigger. Like, that beard will grow that much because of your head.
Well, welcome on board, bro. It's good to have you on. I told you they're under something special. Mika, you had egg on your face as well. You can come into this. You're not just going to sit there quietly. The Titans under something special. After about 4 or 5 rounds, you're laughing at me.
They're not going to make the 8, Joel. Give up the push. They're not going to make the 8.
I'm not pushing. Your brother wanted this talking point tonight, not me.
They've toughened up a fair bit, but I still don't think they'll make the 8. I don't know. Like, you're talking about Brisbane. Brisbane are shot. Losing Haas and Mam in the first 15 or whatever else didn't help. Who are the Titans play this week?
They play Cronulla up at Gold Coast. Without Nico Hines is obviously out, and now Trindle's out as well.
Trindle's out, yeah. Yeah, I tipped him. See,
why is Trindle out? Did he go for a bit of a late night drive again? Or
injured? Hamstring?
Hamstring
running.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's
I do, you know what, but I love, is it Aaron, is it Clark?
Aaron Clark, yeah.
He is a beast. I love watching him play. He is from the streets, and I feel like he would punch portholes in people. So I think it'd be great if they did. I just think they'll just miss out. I don't think they'll make the 8. I think they've left their run too late.
Look, I don't think they'll make the finals either. I think that I agree with you. Just one of the probably 2 of those early losses they had are probably going to bite them in the backside, unfortunately. they're going to be a very good side next year. I'll go out right now and say that they'll be playing finals football next year. The Des Hasler effect is in full effect, the Des era, and they're really. I feel like this playing group at the start of the season maybe had a bit of their noses out of joint when Des came along with his hard style. And I said at the start that was going to be a really hard marriage to sort of put together because there was this playing group that was able to play freely for so long and do whatever they basically pleased. They've now got a coach who is the total opposite. He wants them to do it his way. And if you don't want to do it his way, the door's right there and he'll snap the door off just to make his point. I feel like they've now finally come together as that mutual agreement. The players now understand Des and vice versa. And they've actually become a really good football team. And in saying that, I think Des has sort of softened a little bit because the way the Titans are playing, and Mika, I know what you're saying about the injuries, but I'll give Titans credit on the weekend. That was sensational. Like Keanu Keaney,
they were.
Freak. Yeah. Jaden Campbell is playing remarkable footy in a position that he didn't even want to play really at the start of the year. And Kieran Foran's probably their most vital player to that team because he keeps everyone together. So I just want to give him some credit. I think they're playing some really good football.
They are, but I don't think they're a threat. I don't think they'll make the 8, let alone be a threat.
I disagree with you, Joel. I think if they are going to make a run, it's got to be this year. I don't think they'll make it next year. Foran's obviously playing good football, had his injuries at the start of the year. It might be one of those cases that have gone a little bit too long next year. And obviously with David Fafita off to the Roosters as well, that's a huge loss for him. Oh, sorry. When he was meant to correct me and say he's something, whatever. You ruined the joke.
You can dig yourself out of that one.
It was a good one.
Average at best.
Final thing I'll say on the Titans here is I'll make a big call right now and say I think they should be shopping AJ Brinson around. I don't think there's a spot for him in this team anymore. Because on the money he's on, if he's on fullback money, you can't put him out in the centres. You can't put him on the wing. The fullback, Keanu Keaney for mine's got that position now for years to come. Jaden Campbell's got the 5'8" position. They've got that rugby sevens convert. I forget what his name is. It'll come to me shortly. But I think Carter Gordon, I think his name is. He's there. He's a potential halves or a centre as well.
Did they sign someone from the Melbourne Rebels as well? So that's got another rugby player from the Melbourne. Is that him?
I think it's him. I think he's played. I don't know if it's sevens. He played
Right.
rugby.
Fuck, you think you do some research for your show on your page you run, eh?
Mate, honestly, I haven't had a chance. As everyone can see at the moment, I've been getting a few comments I can see, but just rough as gut, ready to go to bed.
I've called you Malcolm Naden before.
I feel like AJ's been a little bit held back by the fact that he's constantly always swapped between 5'8" and fullback. Well, I feel like he has in my memory of him. Hey?
He's constantly injured as well. Like, he just can't get a good run of games.
Yeah, I feel like if he could just go to a club where he just like, right, mate, you're the fullback. That's the position you're going to be playing. Let's focus and coach on that. I feel like his game would benefit for it because he's got speed to burn and he's talented. But I just feel like he's been fucked around a bit there with just position changes too many times. Well, that's how I remember it anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I want to ask this as well. What about you needed Jeffrey? Can you allude a bit more to that?
Don't you remember Get Him to the Greek, the movie?
No.
What's Jeffrey? Who's Jeffrey? He's your mate down the road. It was like a made up. It was a movie with.
You need a mate.
It was like a fucking. You remember who was in it? What's the guy that was also in Superbad?
Fucking McLovin.
No.
Right,
Russell Brand was in it, and
Russell Brand.
He was in. Yeah. Anyway, it's like a fucking mixture of about 8 different drugs, and it's just a really funny scene. You have to watch the movie. That's what I need.
So you're only drug use. Encouraging drug use on there.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to touch on this one, but anyway, it is what
you asked the question. I answered.
NRLW has kicked off with two weeks into the competition at the moment. There's been some cracking contests already, and the girls we say it every year at the moment. The girls have really turned it on another level. I feel like this competition, and it's been a sensational couple of weeks to watch. I want to know early though, who are our 2 grand final teams for this season that we've watched now 2 weeks? What are we thinking? I'm going first. I'm going to let myself go first for this one. I'm going to say, so far, there's been 2 clear standouts in this competition in terms of their style of play. And they just look better than everyone. And that's by about a head length as well on the Flemington Straight. I feel like it's the Knights versus the Titans at the moment. The Newcastle Knights are so impressive. They just get winning. I put a post up about this on the weekend, but their culture at that club, and Adam might be able to talk about it a bit more, knowing the ex-coach there and stuff. And obviously we've had the podcast as well and stuff, so he knows a few of them. But they just get winning. Like, no matter how or where they're coming from, they just win. No matter where they are at the game, they can be behind us on the weekend. They were behind, I think, by 2 tries early, and no panic. Just went about their systems, and that's something that we've seen from the men's game, and they just know their systems and do it. But I felt like the women, in a way, haven't been like that. They easily get flustered in a way, but goodness me, the Newcastle Knights are just another level, and the Titans are a very good side as well. Adam, what are your thoughts on the NRLW and the teams you think will make the grand final, and just your thoughts about the Knights team, because I know you've had a little bit to do with them.
Yeah, you played that safe, didn't you? Picking a grand final rematch from last year for your teams to actually go well this year. Very safe from you. I think the Knights will be there. Like I said, they've just got that winning culture, and their team hasn't really changed a lot. Obviously going 2 from 2. Yeah, the Titans have been impressive. I think Cronulla could be a team on the up, and obviously Canberra kind of matched it with Newcastle on the weekend, and Parramatta got Grace Cronulla. One thing I'll say, it's a lot closer than I expected this year. Didn't expect the Parramatta girls to go as good as they have been so far. And what that comes down to is starting to see the benefits from how long the game's actually been going on for. Like, I don't know what year. Are we into our 5th year of NRLW? Which means obviously it'd be 5th or 6th.
I think it's 6, actually. I think it's the Broncos have won 2. The Roosters have won 1. And I think the Knights have won 2. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so 6 year. Yeah. So I guess what that comes down to is we've seen the pathways there for a while, and obviously it's getting stronger with Tertia Gale. Obviously, there's ones below that as well. And obviously the Harvey Norman competition running as a reserve grade competition this year. So it's getting stronger and stronger. And I'll give Parramatta an example. I've been watching quite a bit of that. Their turnaround and sorry, I just saw a comment and I'm trying not to laugh at it. This is bad when you've got to control things, put comments up, because you get done laughing like I did last night. But Parramatta have obviously put a lot of confidence in the juniors they've brought through and the players they've developed, and they're getting better because of it. That's why the competition gets stronger. It's not just girls that have been around; it's girls who are actually starting to develop as well. Yeah, and you want my thoughts on the Knights? I gave you a little bit. It's probably as deep as I'm going into them.
I think Tamika Upton's been a star once again this year. She's sensational. Just a really, really good player. Mika, what are your thoughts on the NRLW so far?
What are you laughing at?
It doesn't matter.
Nothing. What are your thoughts on so far? I know you've been loving it.
Yeah, I love
Jude,
watching.
I agree, Jude. I think Tamika Upton, the way she plays is really, really good all over the field. Good on and off the ball.
I love watching it. Me and my daughters watch a fair bit of the women's games. There's less wrestle, but what are you laughing at?
Just keep talking about the game.
I hope Newcastle don't win another one. I reckon they're starting to get cocky and mouthy, and I just don't like that. So,
Go on.
No.
Sorry, Mika. Mika.
You got to tell me what's going on.
No.
You said the words cocky and mouthy while talking about a women's rugby league game. That's what's going on.
Yeah. So what? Jeez, be a bit mature, boys. Come on.
Sorry, just this Adelaide weather's got to me.
Yeah, must have. Yeah, I think they're getting a bit arrogant and a bit lippy, and I hope they don't win another one. I'd like to see a team who hasn't won it again yet. Who hasn't won it yet win. So the Titans would be good. Cronulla. It's been good footy. There's less wrestle. You can really see how much the game's developed in the last few years. I think it was the season post-COVID. They had a really long off season, and they it's like they went, right, if we want this NRLW to be taken seriously, we need to really work on it. And they got a lot of ex-coaches involved, and it's like in that one off season, it just the quality of it jumped tenfold, and every year it continues to grow. So yeah, I love it. I think it's really good. My only concern is I don't know how they're going to roster the games moving forward as they bring more teams into it. I don't know how they can ever get the coverage or the attendance to their games that they will need to make it as successful as it could be.
Well, it's going to have to go away from standalone games. Like they can do double headers and stuff, and we're also going to get to the point with the next NRL deal and more teams coming that we can't have every game live. Yeah, every game will be live because Fox Sports and Channel 9 can make that happen, but every game there'll be games that clash. And there's games that clash now with the women and the men already, but they'll have to have some games where the girls play before. You can rotate the girls play after. So Parramatta St George kick off at 3:00 on a Saturday. The girls kick off at 5:30 after. It's things like that. But it's obviously the way the game grows and continues to grow, and they want to get to a full round. It's going to be heaps better.
I can imagine that the NRL probably want, like when there's a team for every NRL team, they probably want the girls playing first, right? Like, which would be cool because at least then you're tapping into the crowd of the men's game. Like it'd be sick to go to Combat and watch the Eels Knights girls and then the Eels Knights men's. Like that'd be great, but the problem with that'll be you'll get your crowd numbers up probably, but well, maybe not so because you go to a combat that's pretty packed anyway just for a men's game. So, but I still think you'll struggle for your television games. Like I know the couple of games so far that we've had where the women are playing, is it that Sunday Arvo game, the second Sunday Arvo game they do? I sort of start watching it and then I go, oh shit, fuck, the 2:00 NRL game's on, and I swap over to that. Like even I'm guilty of it. So I don't know. There's got to be a lot of thought put into how they can get around that because I think it'll hold it back eventually.
I agree. And Chris,
we move on before we go to the next talking point because there's one we forgot to mention, Joel, and I'm going to bring it up because I'm, obviously in charge of things now, so I can do what I want. And it's the great Sean Johnson. Here's a photo of me and Sean Johnson in 2016. Sean Johnson obviously announcing his retirement. Everyone loves the Johnson, so not your favourite one. Bye, Asher. Yeah, obviously huge news coming over there, and I think I spoke about earlier, potentially went 1 year too long, had that standout, performance last year. He seemed to just be playing carefree football, relaxed football for the first time in his career, and that's obviously wanted to mention that because obviously he's been a great halfback for New Zealand and for the game and changed the game the way halfbacks play a little bit. I'd say he's more of a. I say it's weird saying he changed the game because like he's won lots of comps or anything, but he plays like a halfback and a 5'8" at the same time. Like he obviously controls that team and sets up that team, but the way he runs the ball and when he runs his backline moves, he plays like a 5'8". And I can't think of many other players that have actually been like him across teams. So I'm going to throw to you and ask you a question. Can you think of anyone that's played like Sean Johnson? And what's your best memory of him, obviously, over the time? Joel, you go first.
I think that's what makes Sean Johnson so special is I think he's been his own player. And we haven't seen a player like him. And he'll be missed, his style of play. I don't want to talk about this year because this year has been a bit of a write-off with him injury-wise. He just hasn't been the same player. And I want to talk about the impact he's had in pretty much a whole generation. And what I mean by that is the generation of the touch footy players who have now come into the game and look at the Keeneys, the Jaden Campbells, the Suafalongos and these guys. These are clearly touch-based players like Ryan Pappenhausen as well. And they've probably been driven by Sean Johnson and idolise him and gone, I can make it. I can do this. And his style of play off the cuff, he's shown halves. You don't have to be that structured player. You can step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You can do that sort of stuff and still be a halfback in this competition and be a damn good one. And I'd say arguably he's the top 3 New Zealand player of all time, in my opinion. And I don't think there's anyone else like him. I think he's his own sort of player. Whether he's the sort of player, step 5 as well, why not? Whether he's the top echelon, I don't think so. If I'm being brutally honest, I'd probably have someone like Joey Johns ahead of him. Thurston, I don't think he's up in that class for his career, but damn, he's been good. He's been very, very good. Mika?
Do you think, just to flip that around, Adam's point where he's a halfback that plays like a 5'8" and whatnot, do you think that's kind of been to his detriment at times? Like, I think last year, which is arguably one of his better seasons, he played as a halfback all year. His game management was really good, and he had a really good actual running 5'8" outside of him in Metcalf for the majority of the season. Do you think if he'd have picked a 6 or a 7, he could have gone over that precipice of the premiership?
I feel like
when he came to Cronulla. When he went to Cronulla, wasn't he meant to go there to play 5'8"? I ended up playing a fair bit of 7. I think he had Moylan there with him as well for a bit. But
yeah, but it chopped and changed, and Moylan's always been up and down. Yeah. That's what I mean. Do you think if he just picked one role, it might have been a bit different?
I feel like last year he sort of said to himself, I guess, my body can't do what it used to be able to do. And he felt like when you were watching him, he was okay with that for the first time in his career, being that different sort of player than when he first hit the scene. And I think we've seen the more mature Sean Johnson last year, and it really worked for him. He played that role perfectly.
It's like he'd finally matured into that game management half that he'd never been.
Yeah.
So,
Adam, mate, great point. We did forget about that one, so I apologise. But
used to carrying the show by now. It's all right.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for thanks everything.
Do you want me to introduce the next segment as well?
Yeah, game of the round, and then afterwards, do you want to just ask people to get their questions in as well, mate?
Yeah, guys, there's no Andrew Backhouse here tonight, which is fucking great. So if you could get your questions in, that'd be great. Anything goes tonight. There's no such thing as a stupid question, there's no filters, because I can guarantee you this much, guys. On Friday night, myself and the young one below me, Michael, also referred to earlier, and that was the greatest comment ever. I'm just going to bring that up now because it didn't get the acknowledgement it deserved. Myself, Ed Sheeran, my brother Slim Shady will be going to the Parramatta Penrith game in the field club. I believe we're catching the train down about 12:50, so lunch beers will be had, followed by potentially more light beers on the train, followed by more beers on the way to the ground than in the box. So,
light beers.
Well, they don't sell full strength beers on the XBT. We're on the Morey Armadale Explorer actually, so they definitely don't sell them. So what's going to happen is we're going to obviously have a pretty big night. I will promise you guys, I will post a video of Michael that will be similar to Troy's rant. This one will go live on League of Inches, or sent to Joel, who'll put it on League of Inches straight away. So ask anything you want to ask, because if you can't get it out of him now, we'll get it out of him Friday night. Also, if anyone can do a lift from Parramatta Station back to Hornsby where we can meet our father, that'd be fucking wonderful, because I have no faith with getting him on a train when he's going to be that drunk. Thank you.
Yeah, the more non-footy related questions, probably the better. We love those on a Wednesday night. So get us in. But boys, our game of the round. Who have we got this week? Mika, you can go first with this. What game are you most looking forward to? Probably.
Just get the drawer up. Doesn't even know. I'll go. I've got mine ready. I'm actually really looking forward to the game of the round. And it's got the big game time slot as well on a Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Newcastle versus the Tigers. I mean, absolute fucking great game. Just, a battle of the heavyweights, but really I'm looking forward to St. George and the Bulldogs. I think St. George and the Bulldogs is definitely game of the round. Sold out stadium. I know the Bulldogs tried to convince the NRL to move that game to a core stadium to try and accommodate the crowd, which is absolutely fucking stupid. It's not St. George's home ground. I'm sorry, Bulldogs. You'll have to go to St. George and be the enemy for once, and hopefully you get a bit of shit given to you. No, I don't mean that. We don't want rubbish at football. But it's going to be a huge game. And I guess, you look at this game, if the Dogs can come away with it, they're pushing on top 4. If St. George get a win here and results go their way, they can put a 4-point gap between, they'll potentially being 8th or 7th to the teams below them, with the Dolphins and obviously Canberra playing as well. Canberra play Manly and the Dolphins play the Warriors, so anything could happen there.
Mickey, you ready yet?
I reckon Raiders Seagulls is going to be a pretty good game too. I agree about the Dogs Dragons, but the other one that's catching my eye is Raiders Seagulls. Raiders are still fighting. They've been playing this tough brand of footy all year, and Seagulls have sort of turned it on a bit lately. So I think that'll be quite a good game. 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, you stole mine. I should have gone first. I was the Raiders Manly as well. No doubt Saturday night's atmosphere and game is going to be fantastic, but I think the fact that both Raiders and Manly are around the same sort of positions on the table, they're fighting for that bottom half of the 8. They're both very much in contention at the moment. Raiders will be playing their first home game back for Josh Papali's 300th game, celebrate that one. I think there'll be a bit of emotion, let's not lie, about the Simon stuff as well. I think the club will get around him and the home fans, so that'd be really big as well. And I did a ladder prediction just before when I was waiting for you guys to actually get on. I quickly got one in. There's only 5 rounds to do, so it was easy. And ended up with Manly in the top 4. So I felt like they went on a bit of a run. So it's a huge game because if they win this, they make the top 4. If they don't, I don't think they can make it. So huge. The Raiders, same thing. They need to win this one to make the top 8.
I also got one in before we got on air. And that's a whole different story. But what I was going to say is I've actually got one in. I just want to give you guys a bit of I know it's going to be a bit of a surprise to you, but what I worked out with my prediction is the Titans are a team on the up. I don't know if anyone knew that, but the Titans are a massive team on the up.
Welcome, Mickey. You're on the bandwagon now. Goodness me. We haven't got any questions coming. No one wants to ask us anything.
I've got one for you guys because I'm pretty much running the place now. We obviously saw last week there's a couple of blowout surprise games. Obviously St. George beating Melbourne, Parramatta beating the Warriors. This week Melbourne $1.18 against South Sydney, Penrith $1.14 against Parramatta, and I guess you can say Newcastle $1.28 against the Tigers. Some pretty clear-cut favourites there. Even the Cowboys $1.43 against the Broncos. Can you see any upsets this week? Big upsets for those favourites?
Not in those games.
Well, there wouldn't be an upset then.
Well, who do the Roosters play? Oh, they got the bye.
Who the Roosters? Yeah, I think they've got that in the bag.
Yeah.
The Warriors at $2.88 against the Dolphins could be an upset. I can't believe the Bulldogs are favourites against St. George after St. George beat Melbourne last week and St. George are at home. That's a massive surprise for me.
Dragons, they've been win-loss pretty much all year.
Yeah. No upsets this weekend.
I can't see it. I honestly can't see it. So I'm going to have to say no. I don't think there will be any. So, yeah.
Diggs, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
You got to remember too, usually at the end of the year, you get those games where the favourites win well. Like, as teams start to fall out, they can't make the 8. I know these teams can't make the 8 and haven't for a long time, but you get those end-of-year blowouts where the good teams start really putting their foot down. So,
just on the back of Sean Johnson, I'll do a question off the cuff. You get to name a touch footy team. So let's go 6 of current NRL players. Who you naming to, and they have to win the game to save your life. They've got to win this game. Who are we going? Who's 6?
Yep, Ryan Pappenhausen, Kalen Ponga, Josh Addo-Carr. I'm going to put Harry Grant in there to play hooker. That's 4. I'm going to put the Hammer. And I need someone who's a little bit bigger, a little bit of ball playing ability, knows how to motor. So I'm going to put Sean Lane in. No, not really. I'm going to put, I don't know who my 6th one would be. I can't really think of
that Falano.
Yeah, Flyalonga. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a good one. But let's change the rules. You can only have one player from each team. So Flyalonga, you can only have Flyalonga, Pappenhausen, because we know that's a decision Melbourne's got to make, so we might as well make it as well. I would put maybe like Valentine Holmes or someone. I reckon he'd kill it as well.
Yep. Mickey, you want next?
Yeah, Fa'alongo. I'm pretty similar to Adam's team, really. Grant.
Actually, can I go back?
I'd have Walsh in there.
I'm getting rid of Valentine Holmes. I'm putting Dylan Brown in. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess you'd need a somewhat kind of half. Dylan Brown would be good at that. The hammer. And Josh Addo. Is that 6? Josh Addo? I'm thinking just speed.
I'll go Keeney and Fa'alongo. I'll have Reece Walsh as well. I think he'd be very, very good touch footy player. I'd have to say, it's bloody tough, I tell you. I'll go Dearden as a bit of a smoky as my sort of playmaker. He's just one of those guys that doesn't stop. He just gets really in the battle and he'll play hard. There's 2 more. Bloody, this is hard. Latrell? I'd have Latrell in there, actually. Give me some Latrell action. And then I agree with you, what basically everyone's saying about the hammer as well. Need a bit of hammer time. That is for sure. Keep them coming in, guys. If you got your 6, and I might do a post.
I've got one more question before we go to start questions.
There's got to be a question in. Yeah,
there's not. There's not one good question so far. Like, be better, guys.
Come on, people.
Question.
Any question.
Be better. There's talk about, obviously, Rugby League 9s are saying they should get the Rugby League 9s at the Olympics. You can touch football, whatever take off at the Olympics. So it's obviously played everywhere. They have a touch football World Cup. The touch football World Cup was literally just on. Like, I reckon that'd be really fucking entertaining at the Olympics.
Don't mind.
Would you touch? Yeah, I reckon, and it's like, I guess with Rugby 9s, they've already got the Rugby 7s, which is a contact. So taking over touch football could be huge. While we wait for any more questions, let's go to the star ones. I have starred 2 of them because, I'm over top here. So I'll let Michael just answer this one because I know he's passionate about this. Would you guys prefer Paulo or RCG getting the tap on the shoulder?
First of all, it's Podlow. No, shut up. He spelled it wrong. It's Podlow, not Paulo. He's officially changed his name to Junior Plodlow.
Don't worry, he'll get rid of that extra weight when he's concentrating on boxing at the end of the year. So I just want to touch on this because apparently, like I said it last night, talking para, RCG hasn't been told to go. I believe he's just been told his contract won't be up. I've been sent about 18 messages about that. So he's been told, it says on the comments as well, that he's been told he won't be renewed at the end of the year. And I believe Gutho's been told the same thing. So that's the end of 2025. I don't know when Paulo's off contract, but fuck, I think it's 2026. I hope he's gone by then as well. Michael, answer the question.
Yeah, RCG has been a better player on the field than Paulo for probably at least 18 months. And Paulo is he's the 3rd highest front rower in the game, highest paid front rower in the game. Paulo plays like the worst New South Wales Cup front rower. I don't think I've seen him run into the line in at least 12 months. I haven't seen him bend a line in 18 months. He's never there to tackle when he should be. The stupid run into the line and turn and try and pass thing he's doing now. Like, mate, just put the ball under your arm and run like you're meant to instead of plodding along. So for me, Paulo should have gone every day of the week if we're trying to release one of them. I think RCG's still got plenty to offer, and I think he's been that way for a long time.
Joel, you want to answer it?
I think Mika's summed it up pretty well.
Lovely. Final one. I'll let you go answer this first, Joel. I'll give my point first. What do you think the Eels chairman, Sean McElduff, leaving end of next year? Who would you like to take his position? Hopefully, Jim leaves as well. I believe he's going straight into the retirement home because that's where he belongs. It's getting hard missing the bingo in the over 55s village every day. But look, guys, it won't change anything. I know there's obviously all this talk about it and stuff. Sean is obviously the chairman, which means he's part of the Leagues Club board. And all that's going to happen is, unless that board is changed, it's going to put the next person in with the same opinion. Now, as for the CEO going, the only way the CEO can go besides resigning is if Sean, the chairman, sacks him. That won't happen. It's the same with Mark O'Neill. Mark O'Neill needs to be sacked by the CEO or by the chairman. That won't happen because the pressure goes on them if things don't change. So if you generally want Parramatta to change, then the Leagues Club's the only one that can do it. 18 months for Sean to leave is way too long. He has to leave. I think there's a vote next February, potentially. That's the only way you'll get rid of him before then. And then obviously that new Leagues Club has to change the way things are ran at Parramatta, which means then they kind of dissolve the football club board and go back to running it themselves. And that's the only way we'll have a say on actually how the football club is ran. Do you want to touch on anything there, Joel, or have I summed that up as well?
You have, but you haven't been as I don't think you've been as critical as you should be. I reckon just blow the whole place up. None of them that are there at the moment should be there moving forward. It's something that we really need to fix up. It's become an absolute circus at the back of this club, and we just need to get it changed, get some new blood in, and get the club back.
I was going to say, bring that one up. I think if they invest more time in Brendan Hands, I think he's doing a good job when he gets consistent footy there.
No, we're signing
his
Jaden
defence.
Brayley. We're 100% signing Jaden Brayley, especially with Nathan Brown coming to the club now. Nathan Brown signed. It was already rumoured that he was going to come to Parramatta with a bit of a swap with Arthur. I know he's had his run of injuries and stuff. He was quite a good player before that. Just can't get any luck. But Nathan Brown was the one that signed Jaden Bradley from Cronulla to come to Newcastle. Before he got sacked. So I think Nathan Brown, obviously going to be appointed assistant at Parramatta, would love to work with him.
Yeah, but still, as I said, it talks about the centres. We've got Lomax and Penasini in the centres now. I think Brendan Hands is doing a pretty decent job. I think our wingers need work, and our forward pack is outdated for the style of NRL that they need to play.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I think that's pretty much it.
You haven't got any funny questions?
Yeah, God, it's got to be something.
Give
a non-football question. A non-football
I miss
question.
Andrew Backhouse. I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown, come through with the goods, brother. I just want to raise a point as well. If you're a passionate fan of a team, don't wear opposition colours in public and on public.
I'm going to the Eels Broncos game.
That's capital. That's not a non-footy related question, Josh. Make it better. Be better.
Josh said, Michael, Josh said he'd really like to meet you that day.
I'll happily get legless with you. I think you've got a head start, though.
Oh, give us one so we can go. I need to get out of here. I need to go to sleep. I need to get early. Come on, Mr. Brown. Come on, Joshy boy. Someone give us a non-footy related.
Well,
no more Isaac Moses. He's a rat. We don't like him. I understand. That's Isaac Moses free zone moving forward.
I can't believe we haven't got any good questions.
Nah, Mr. Backhouse.
You're going to have to get Backhouse back next week. It's not the same without him.
God, I thought we banned him.
Where is he? He's gone. He's gone over to Titans as well. He's another bandwagon.
Gold Coast Titans.
When will Adam be flying on airlines?
I've actually discussed it. I've actually discussed it with the missus, and it's on the plans. I'd love to go there one day. It's cheap as shit. It's only like $6,000 or something, which includes your hair transplant, your accommodation in the hotel with all your food. Apparently, it's really nice, like a hotel hospital thing. So it's only flights on top of that. So you can get it done for about $9,000. It's going to pay for itself, to be honest.
There are much better things to spend $9,000 on than hair. Fuck me. Just wear a beanie or a hat.
We don't all need dick enlargements, Michael. I've got that covered.
That's it. Let's go. We're done. Get ready to press the end button, Adam, or producer, boss, whatever you want to be called at the moment. Apologies about myself. Hopefully it's all come through okay sound-wise and visual-wise and the like. I'll be back to normal as of next week fingers crossed, or at least with some decent Wi-Fi if I am away. But yeah, enjoy the week. Thanks for coming on board. Apologies again that Simon wasn't able to make it, but sending you out nothing but love, brother. Go on the weekend, go support your mighty Canberra Raiders, and we'll be there watching. Mika, Adam, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you taking your time out of your Wednesday night hump day. Mika, do you have something to finish on? Look at you go. You look like you're about to do a freestyle rap. Spit some bars.
It's the first time I've ever heard that. Fuck me.
Spit.
No,
Not
not a rapper. Not a rapper at all.
All right, that's it. Press
got
the end
nothing.
button.
Time to go. See you later. It's late.
Good night.
Have you